Content Catchup.
All right, friends and enemies, welcome to episode 18 of the Content Catch-Up. My name is Julian. I'm joined, as always, by the lovely Michael Francis Barker. Michael Francis Barker, how are you today?
Hi, Julian. Good, thanks. Great to be here.
Great.
Yeah,
That's the show.
That's it. Thanks for joining us another week. No, I'm good. What's been happening? Not a lot. It's a beautiful day outside, though. How are you?
Did you just ask and answer your own question? Like, this is
I thought
not
I
how
just-
it works. You're supposed to, ask and then wait for me to answer. We've only been doing this for 4 seasons and about 3,000 episodes. I don't know if you've got that yet.
I thought I'd just come in with a rapid pace, just like asking one topic to the next, weather chat.
Dear. Weather chat,
What do you
your
think?
favorite thing?
Yeah. What do you think? Should I back off that approach?
No, I think go for it if it's working for you. Is that how you're making new friends at your workplace?
No, I'm still heavily in the. When I first joined Carlton, I was pretty much kept to myself. I'm
Quiet,
still.
Michael.
Yeah, I'm still coming out of that, but yeah, I don't know. What would you say for the listeners? What do you reckon that time frame was it took for me to start talking a fair bit?
I reckon it was like maybe 6 or 7 months.
Yep, that's reasonable. So it's 4 months ish, I think, at this point.
So just a warning to everyone in Hoop City, you're in for a tough time in about 3 months. So enjoy it while it lasts.
It's more Melbourne United because I sit with the Melbourne United crew. I don't really sit with the Hoop City crew, but what's going on? It's been a couple of weeks. What's new in your world?
A couple of weeks. Not a hell of a lot to report on. Just been knuckling down with work. I think everyone in the footy industry is probably creeping towards the mid-season bye and looking forward to that coming around. We had AFLW start up, so good opportunity to be a bit creative with that. A bit of a fresh season and try and tell the stories there, which is always exciting. I haven't really been doing too much, Barks. I've been playing a bit of footy.
How's that going? I saw a photo of you in your story with your luscious locks.
Yeah, 1 in 45 possessions. Thankfully, no one actually.
Is that real?
Officially... No, absolutely not. I had
I
about
was
3,
gonna say,
and they were all dog shit. But yeah, that's been a bit of fun.
I believed you.
Yeah,
that's pretty complimentary towards you that I actually could believe that, though.
That's the main thing. As long as someone believes me, that's all that matters. But no, I've been enjoying that. It's nice to get out and do something on the weekend and have something consistent like that. But aside from that, pretty quiet around here. Been just spending some time at home and trying to relax a little bit with work. What about you? What's been happening?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything too much to report either. But I do get your enjoyment of footy because I actually wouldn't mind getting back into basketball, but a bit more casual. I don't really want the competitive side. The animal comes out of me, so I just want to back off on that.
You do have a bit of white line fever, don't you?
I think you've got it. Like, I think every successful, great sports person has that in him, and I'm no different.
Well, you were named after Michael Jordan, so I suppose that is fair.
Was I?
Yeah.
But no, work's been busy. We are opening our 4th Hoop City in Carrum Downs next month, or this month we're actually aiming for, so I'm sure you're keeping tabs on that one.
Yeah, I actually am.
Okay.
I know, maybe you shouldn't discuss this on air, but I know one of the investors in the Carrum Downs facilities.
Do you?
Yes,
well,
I do.
Starting with C. Reggie.
What's Reggie's problem now?
I don't know. Is it someone starting with C?
Yeah, it's someone starting with C, but we perhaps shouldn't discuss that on air.
Nah. No, that's fair enough.
But yes, I was aware that the Carrum Downs facility was opening. What does that mean for you? Does that mean additional work? What does it look like?
Yeah, essentially. Well, so I cover 3 facilities. Well, we've got 3 Hoop City facilities, and with a 4th, it's basically just I haven't been around since like the beginning of a very new franchise or facility, so it'll sort of be a bit different. But basically, just trying to make people aware it exists and do a bit of a soft launch, and then we'll do a bit of a bigger launch when we've got more members and more happening. So basically, what I've been doing, but just from the start. So trying to build up a database and get people down there through the doors.
I've got to say, I am enjoying your transition into this this digital manager role, because I never thought in my life I would hear you, Michael Francis Barker, say that you had any interest in starting a database or building a database.
Oh, it's all about revenue.
It's all
It's
about
all
revenue,
about.
isn't it? It's all about
I
those,
use
that
I
first
use
party
different
data,
words
isn't
now.
it?
Yeah, I just throw out terms that you would not expect from me. You'd be very proud.
Oh,
I don't
the
know what
day,
they mean, but I use them.
but I've heard someone say them. The day I
Yeah,
start hearing you talk about a rate card, that's when I know you've
I don't
really
know what that is.
transitioned into the true digital manager.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. We'll give it that another 6 months, I think.
Give that
But
6 months. Oh, that's
no,
exciting though. That's exciting times for Hoop City. A bit of expansion.
yep. And then other work wise, I got paid to sit and watch the NBA Finals Game One party. It was a bit of a watch
Oh,
party that we sponsored at Marvel Stadium, so that was fun. That was last
how did
Friday.
that come about?
Well, it's essentially Hoop City just sponsored it for, I guess, exposure. Like we had a
Hmm.
pretty big part of it, and Luke Longley, the former NBA
Oh,
Australian player,
cool.
he was there for a bit of a speech or an interview on stage before the game, and then yeah, basically just had Hoop City. We had one of our colleagues, Rosie. She went around and got people were offering a free 6 month membership among other prizes. So we just sort of
Just that data. It's that
yeah,
data
just
grab.
something about money and
Money.
yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
something it's
Profits.
important.
Profits and
Pro-
loss.
yeah, profits and loss, but
That's exciting.
no, I'll leave the other point to we might leave it for your content because it relates to
Oh,
uh
yes. Yes, I see this in here.
AI and yeah, something to do with my work. But
Yeah.
should we? Speaking of that, should we go into it?
Okay,
My content.
like a quick one. Yeah, I also wanted to say before we got in there, like, I'm sorry it's not always about you, but your twin brother just got engaged.
Did he? Oh shit!
You missed that one. Not
No, he didn't.
surprising.
Yeah, no, he did. That was very nice of you to want to touch on that.
Yeah,
But
so
yes, congrats.
congratulations, Daz and Jess.
Yep, Des and Jess. In the lovely, was it Croatia? I think they did it in Croatia.
He,
Yeah, I don't know.
what was your feedback that he did it in a poncho and that just wasn't good enough?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the poncho, so they
Mm.
did it at this wonderful park with a lovely waterfall in the background. But because it was wet and rainy the whole day, they got ponchos, and Darren was still in his poncho, but Jess took hers off. Not that she knew it was happening, but
Oh,
I just found it
I
funny.
feel like she might have had an idea if she's taking the poncho off.
Well, she claims she doesn't, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna trust her word there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but congrats.
Congrats. So that's 2 of 2. Um, and we're just seeing another example of Darren copying you, really, aren't we? Like, you get engaged, you get
Yeah.
married, he decides to do the same thing. It's all
Well,
very convenient.
it's very convenient. And that's the thing that pisses me off. Like, do you think he's going to get married as well? Because that would be
Oh,
pretty copycat material.
I
Like,
reckon it is. And then, like, it'll be
it's
like,
just
oh, he'll go on a honeymoon as well. Like,
yeah, it's
him and
be
Jess will buy a
original.
house. Like,
Yeah,
probably
I
get
know.
some dogs.
Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next? Dogs.
Fuck it. A dog named Leggy or something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe you'll get our friend. Oh, what's a dentist? What's a bad dental dog from last episode? The bulldog.
Oh, the
What's
guy
his
with the
name?
overbite. Yeah.
I
Fuck.
forgot his name.
Hope he's well. Anyway,
I
now you
hope
can
it.
go into your bloody content, mate.
I hope he's been taken. Like
Yeah.
not taken, like kidnapped, but like
Yeah. Looked
adopted.
after. Yeah. We know what you
Uh,
mean.
um, yeah, no. Okay, so for my content this week, this is a bit late to the party, but I wanted to talk about from the fan engagement side of things on game day, and I know we harp on about Australian culture, but I just thought it was a good example. So, in the NBA, the Sacramento Kings haven't had a lot of success lately, but last year they started this new thing because they recently built a new facility. And I want to talk about like in stadium gimmicks or in stadium trends. Think of Port Adelaide with their
Never
what's the
tear us
song?
apart.
Never tear us apart. So the type of things big sporting teams do as like a ritual before or after the game that gets the fans involved. So the Sacramento Kings, they had this thing where every home game they won, they had this thing they called Light the Beam.
Mm-hmm.
So lighting the beam basically meant that every home win, that after the game, they get one of the players to push this big ass button, and the whole stadium would, on the outside of the stadium, would have this light trail of purple. That's the color, and then the beam would shoot up into the sky, and it was really cool. Like it was done really well, and by the end of it, in the playoffs, the Kings had a few wins, and the fans just got around it like it was really cool, and they'd start chanting light the beam, and Straight away my mind went to Australian culture, Jules, and
Mm,
I just think it's such a contrast of how cool and how big that was.
yep.
But then if you did that something like that here, how corny and how wanky it would sort of be here.
Yeah, how ill-received. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just like I don't know if it's ever going to change, and we've talked about it a lot in terms of probably talk about it more in regards to like posting your own work and pumping yourself up. But this is another aspect of Australian culture that I just don't think that would work here.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like, what? Yeah, I think like speaking from actually seeing stuff like this at a show is that like or like in ground and having the insight into it is it like there's just such old football fans that like
Yeah, is it
hate
too?
this shit like and
Yeah, but surely there'd be like old Sacramento King heads that they just have a better ability to like embrace it. Maybe I don't know.
basketball's like a fairly young sport though, isn't it? Like in terms of
Mm,
its ability to attract a younger audience. Like
I think so. I think it's like
yeah.
especially if we're relating to AFL, and I don't know if you know any other sports off the top of your head in Australia that have these type of rituals, but yeah, it's just another example of I don't know if that would work here, and I'd love to like if I did a bit more research, like there would I wonder if there's sort of examples that aren't a song or something like
Mhm.
that that have worked in Australian sport.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but again, I'd say there'd be few and far between.
Yeah.
Um, which is it is disappointing because like that stuff is cool. Like when it gets
Mm,
pulled off, like um, yeah, when it gets pulled off in live and in live examples, and you can see the actual output of it. Like
yeah.
it is quite impressive. Like I'm sure the first time someone said to Port Adelaide, like, "Oh, we're going to sing this song before the game," hundreds of people or thousands of people will be like, "Oh, that's fucking stupid. I'm never going to do that."
Yeah.
And then you see it, and you're like, "Oh, actually, that's
It's a
quite
good
cool."
point. Do you think there's like a period of time that it needs to that people need to push through it? Because like nothing's going to be like a hit straight away. And like I think to this light the beam example, could you imagine like the first time someone in the Sacramento Kings front office or whatever, wherever it came from, and they're like, oh, why don't we have like a big purple beam that shoots up into the sky? Like I think it's really cool that people back it and it actually becomes a thing because we both know how hard it would be to get off the ground. Pun intended.
Yeah, yeah, and it does sound like a ridiculous concept when you put it like that, but
Yeah.
it's not with these things. I also feel it's like not about what your prejudice might be. Like it's about what fans see, especially young fans that like are watching these games and stuff like that, and seeing these examples overseas, and probably want to see something like this
Mm.
um, in their own games.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you mentioned young fans. I reckon it is like they're the ones that are going to make these ideas work.
Yeah,
Like it's nobody else.
no, I agree.
It's kids. Sorry, did you have something?
No, hello.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. I thought I lost you again. I was going to ask do you want to touch on the Carlton breakdancers, or is that not something you
No,
want to
we
talk
can talk
about?
about that. Absolutely.
Okay. So, listeners, so Carlton tried something this year, and unfortunately, it's probably not within the scope of games where we've won a lot. But
Mm.
at home games, Jules, talk to us what you guys have brought on this year with your breakdancing or
Dance
dancing
crew.
crew.
Yeah, so this was an idea that Danny and Ash, who work, well, Ash is our head of creativity and Danny's in the fan engagement team, kind of put together at the start of the year. It was about changing the intro and like adding a bit of energy pre-game. And one of the ideas was bring a troupe of dancers down to do like a choreographed dance, and each week there'd be like a little video about the dance that they're going to do, encourage people to do it along with them. Um, and again, like you said, some of that stuff's fallen off just because we don't have the sheer manpower to do it. But the dancers, I've got to say, like, I was probably in the camp of like, oh, I don't know if this is a really good idea. However, you see like the people that it attracts pre-game, and I don't mean to see the people it attracts in a bad way. I mean like the young people, the parents, the mothers, like all that stuff that are just bopping along and like have their phones out watching these dances. And it's like, you know what, that's not a terrible idea. It's just something
Mm.
like if done well, like so they don't seem like just token and there for nothing. It's a really good idea. Like has
Yeah.
has a bit of impact. It's not something you really have to listen to or like pay a lot of attention to. It's just kind of going on in the background.
No, exactly. And have you had? I'm curious about how it's been received or feedback. Like, has that been positive, negative, or
I don't know at this stage. We're about to go
yeah,
out with a member survey and find out a little bit more. And I think like everything that we have done will be jaded by the on field performance, so it's a bit hard to
yeah,
judge at this stage. However, like I said, the people in an immediate like assessment of it, you can see the people like clapping along, filming, and all that kind of stuff, and you assume that that's a pretty good sign. Like otherwise, they
yeah?
would just be ignoring it, wouldn't they?
No, exactly. And
Yeah.
I just thought it was relevant because it's the first time Carlton brought it in this year, and it's probably relates to that period of time where you just got to push through it if it is something you want to continue with. Because
Yeah.
hell, if it goes into the season or the season after, and we're really successful, people will love it. I'm sure. Like as you said, if you're winning on the field, they'd be like, "Bloody love those
Yeah,
dances."
it's the best thing
Pre-game.
ever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you just don't know. So
No.
I think you've got to, in a bit, like you've got to cop the criticisms from some people because it's always the smallest minority that will say something,
Yeah.
and it's the majority that who either don't care or think it's a good idea that will remain a bit silent. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, you got to just try stuff in the fan engagement space and just not like you got to also probably understand the balance of like we're not in America where we're going to be that involved, but we're also not in England where we're not going to have anything at all
Yeah.
either. So what's the middle ground?
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think it's just what you were saying. It's whether you cater to the minority or cater to the majority. So it's one
Yeah,
of those examples. But listeners, if you've got any good examples that we clearly haven't thought of, like the Port Power song, that have either worked or failed, I'd be interested to hear them.
yeah. Send them in.
Send them in. All right, that's all I had.
All right, good because it's onto my content now.
Okay.
Um, I think we started speaking about AI a little bit in previous episodes, but I thought it was relevant to bring it back to the table for discussion with Adobe Generative Fill being released this week. And
Crazy.
I don't know if you've seen much of this, but it's pretty
Yeah.
insane technology. For those at home who might not be aware of it, it's kind of like you lasso an area of your frame in Adobe Photoshop. Like you don't have to use an external product, and you type in like fill this area with a tractor, you know, harvesting corn.
Anything.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
whatever it might be, and it'll generate that. Still obviously a bit buggy and whatnot, but the concept of it is like mind blowing because does it, and this is my question to you, Barks, like how much do you think this is gonna change like how we do stuff in the industry? Like does it make it easier from a photography point of view? Does it make it worse from a photography point of view? Does it make it easy from anything? Like what are your thoughts on what this will do?
I think when you first raised it with me the other week, and I was an ignorant fool about it. No, I'm not going to say I was a fool. I just hadn't really looked into it. But now my whole TikTok feed is based off of this. I reckon. Like I've just been scrolling through, particularly this generative fill or whatever it's called. But no, I think it will help a lot. I think I think it's one of those things that you can definitely use it to your advantage, and it's just going to be all dependent on the creative on how you do that.
Mm,
Like I think it's sort of like those. Do you remember like last season? Sometime I was talking about how photographers were getting mad at Instagram because it's not about photos anymore; it's about
yeah,
reels, and they were just saying, "I can't do this." Like, and I bring that up because I think it's similar to that, where there's no point trying to fight it. Like,
yeah.
it's just no point because otherwise you're gonna fall behind, and that's just it's out of your control. So you either go with it or you don't. So I think it's going to change the game a lot to answer your question, but it's just dependent on the individual how you'll do that. Like I don't really know off the top of my head how that's going to do it straight away, but it's got it right. Like the right people will start to find things that more people will start to do. I think.
I think to your point that's so right. Like it's not a bit of technology to be afraid of. Like the more you're afraid of it and the more you resist it, the more like you're likely to fall. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like doing yourself a disservice by not learning how to use it and use it to your advantage, right? Like
Yeah.
there's
Well, because your competitor's going to use it
correct,
regardless.
yeah. And like if you learn how to use it in a really cool way, that like it's not going to replace anything at this stage. Like we're still years upon years of that happening. However, like
Mm.
if you can have like the creative impact to use it to your advantage, that's just like clever.
Yeah. I've got an example
Oh
after you.
yes, go on.
So I used my first bit of AI technology for Hoop City the other
Oh,
week.
okay. What happened?
So very, very straightforward. So in the website, Hoop City website, like most websites, you've got an about us section, and then we've got our story. So a
Mhm.
bit of a history paragraph on Hoop City, where they began, etc.
Yep.
So I went to GPT, and I just wrote something along the lines of using the information on hoopcity.com.au, create a I don't know if I specified how many paragraphs, but I said create a blurb or something like that on the like an about. I think I just said an about us section on Hoop City and where it began, and
Okay.
within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, it started generating. It gave me far too much, maybe 6 paragraphs, really like well worded, really accurate. Yeah, words about Hoop City, and then I literally copy and pasted in my notes. I adjusted a bit of it, I added a bit, changed a few words, but I'd say like 75%, 80% of that I left, and that's on our website. And it looks good. Like it reads well.
So I'm just on the Hoop City website now. I've got the screen
Oh
share for
yeah.
those who are watching. So we're looking at the About Us page.
So if you scroll down, not
Scroll.
that bit, that this bit.
Okay, so this block of text here.
Yeah. So I added a few bits that were very specific. For example, the types of people that were in our facilities and
Yep.
our development program that probably wouldn't be caught by ChatGPT, but the rest is AI.
Love it. I think that this is a perfect way of how you can use it like to your advantage because no shade bucks, but your skill isn't in website copy or
No.
whatever it is like. And sometimes you just need a starter, right? Like you just need a starting point to
Yeah.
then be like, oh yeah, like that's what I need. But yeah, like I love shit like this where you can use it to your advantage and cut down on the time that it would have taken you to write this in its first instance and then just, correct it as it goes along.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like, be aware of what your strengths and weaknesses are. Like that.
Yep.
For me to try to do that, that would probably spend like a couple of hours just to make sure I was getting the right information and doing the right whatever. Like, you know how many times I checked basic English crap with Critter from
Yeah.
Carlton. Like, it's not something that's been involved in my job often, but with a role like this in my position, you sort of just it's like to cover your weaknesses. You might as well use
Absolutely.
it, and by all means, don't not proofread it. Like
Oh,
it's
you
just
have
like
to, yeah.
you can't just copy and paste it. Like I still found a few things that were a bit off, but
Because
it's a new-ish technology, I guess.
that's the other thing. You get what you put in, right? Like if you just put in like bare minimum, you're going to get shit. But if you put in something like mid decent level of detail, you get
Yeah,
that back. But you still have to, the intricacies as a human of like, oh, I shouldn't say that, or like this has gone on in the background. I probably shouldn't mention this too much. Like,
yeah,
however, like it's like I said, it's a great starting point.
yeah. And I
I
think
sorry,
go on.
no, you go.
I was going to say, another example for our listeners is I think I'm going to use it to. We got to sort of pump up who Luke Kendall is, our development programs manager, and we need a bit of bio on him. And I'm going to test it out just using his Wikipedia to see if it can give me
Okay,
something.
well, keep us
Yeah,
posted.
I will.
It
But
might be a
you were
little bit
saying,
interesting. My dad actually, this is really lazy of me. My dad asked me to write something for him the other day, like an ad for the something he's doing in the newspaper, and I'd had the longest week, and I was like, oh fuck, I need to get this to dad by tomorrow. So I just went on to Chat GPT and put in the description he sent me in the email, and it
love
spat out
it.
a paragraph, and I was like, thank you, that's all I need.
And was it good, or was it
I
do
again,
the
like
job?
it needs some changing, and then what that did was it gave me two other, like it just gave me a starting point where I could like have
Mm.
another couple of ideas of my own of, oh no, I'll do this instead, and then
Yeah,
bingo bango, you're done. Um,
bingo bango.
I did want to share this one example I found from the Gold Coast Suns of how they've cleverly integrated the Adobe Generative Fill into one of their contracts. I'll just refresh it so it starts from the start, into one of their contract announcements. So what they've done is, for those at home who aren't watching, they've just got like a graphic on screen of this person who's about to re-sign for 4 more years. They've done the Adobe Generative Fill in the little lasso, and in the little command center, they've written something like, hold on, wait, it's about to start here. Generate news everyone wants to hear as their little prompt, and it pops up with 4 more years for this player.
Yeah.
Short, very clever though.
Yeah, jumping on trends, jumping on what people are actually doing.
And then just as like it's got nothing to do with anything else, but I saw this great little bit of content from, I don't know whether it was actually done for one particular F1 team or whether it was done by the F1 competition
Get a lease
itself.
on you.
But have a look at this. This one is not great for people who are just listening, so I do apologize. This one's more... Actually, it would work for those who are listening because you just need to hear the audio. Oh, that's not the right one. That's my egg boss. Sorry, stop your egg.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this.
We're going to talk about that one. Dan Engine. Okay, that's the one I need to share. Geez, a bit rusty today. I'm very sorry.
That's what I did the other week. That's all right.
Okay.
Oh, I can hear it.
Look, bumpy. Really bumpy. Long stretch. Ooh.
Oh, is he reading it purely off the sound?
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is fantastic.
I'll let one more roll.
That's a really clever piece of content.
Yeah.
Silverstone. Bang.
Woo.
Fantastic. That was quick.
Really?
Yeah, so you get the idea. It's again, the noise kind of gives you the idea if you're just listening, but it's 2 of the Alpha Tauri drivers just sitting with in front of a couple of microphones, and they're playing the sounds of like different racetracks in the cars, and they just have to guess what which track it is, and they do it so quickly, which I guess goes to show the like level of detail that these drivers know. And one of them, you can see that the driver on top, he's actually making the like little gear changes himself, like trying to like work out. It's insane. Like, and that's just fun content. Like I don't know how it would have come about, but that's probably insight from their content team being like, oh, these guys must know like so much about the track, and like to the point where it's photographic memory almost. Yeah,
like a fun way to show that how much detail, their level of knowledge that it actually comes with the sport. That's good.
Little one for you. All right, Barks, that's enough content for this week. Let's jump into our other favorite segment. What?
Sorry, can I? I was about to boss this in the thing, but it relates to AI. Have you seen anything on Twitter where content creators are taking the piss out of AI? Where I was gonna boss it, so I've just been enjoying it. So, for example, if you've got like a video editor or a video producer that uses like these fancy high-end cameras and puts together this crazy video edit for their job or whatever it might be, and then they'll just put it out as a tweet saying AI is crazy or whatever, and then it'll sort of mock the situation that AI clearly didn't do it. I love it. I think there's some funny ones out there.
I saw a good one where it was like, AI is so great. Again, a graphic designer, he does a loop and he types in on this guy's face like, add a great sexy beard. And it just adds lipstick and like this really like shitty beard onto this guy. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, there is some. So, listeners, if you don't actually know much about this Photoshop generative fill, is that what it's called? Generative fill,
yeah.
Yeah. I saw some examples where you can literally choose the hairstyle of like an athlete and type change to whatever, and it does it very well. So that's like the level of detail that it's actually going into, but. Anyway, that's probably enough for now.
I actually saw one that was used for jersey swaps.
Which I was going to say it.
Clever one, because that's one that takes like so long and doesn't need to. So
yeah,
may as well.
Yeah, I reckon people like you can probably start doing that type of thing for even if it's poorly done.
Yeah,
you can almost like do it for new signings, but embrace it being poorly done.
Yeah. or like because it wouldn't work well in the AFL because there wouldn't be that much AI on like what Carlton Football Club.
No,
is.
true.
Like,
But I think
Yeah.
that's what would be funny because it
Yeah.
would just like come up with some like I don't know shark logo or something. It's nothing to do with it.
Oh, that'd be funny. Maybe we should try that and see what it spits out. Anyway, let's jump into some eggs, Michael Barker.
Yes,
Egg of the
please.
week.
You kick us off.
I'll kick this off. So this one is it's short but sweet. Unfortunately, if you haven't heard, Tina Turner died. Icon of music. I'm sorry if I'm ruining that for anyone. I saw this one pop up. I don't know who Prue McSween was, but I'm guessing if Rowan Connolly's tweeting about her, she's probably someone that he doesn't like. But the tweet reads, "R.I.P. the amazing Tina Turner. Thank you for the joy you brought us. RESPECT."
That's the wrong artist, isn't
That's
it?
the wrong artist, yeah. So like as much as it might have even been covered by Tina Turner along the line, that's definitely an Aretha Franklin song.
Still funny though.
So just check your dead person before you make a tweet. Like that's all it is. Pretty simple.
Yeah, that can come down to a bit of maybe in the job titles. Check your dead people if you're a social
Yeah,
media.
yeah. Please check. And also, it's not a necessary tweet by this person, is it? It's not like
Oh,
their
maybe she's
followers.
in her feels. Yeah, I don't know. She
Anyway.
was writing the raw emotion. My egg is your boss, and
Yeah,
I
let's
want to
talk
see
about
why it's your
this.
boss.
I want to see
So-
why it's your egg.
Well, it seems pretty straightforward, doesn't
Ah,
it?
let's
So
open it up.
I'm egging this person on the Washington Wizards, the NBA team's Snapchat account, where they've clearly forgotten to log out of their Wizards Snapchat account, and they're going out clearly a fun night on the town, and they've just put up a story. I'm not really egging what the caption says, but it's clearly just one of their friends dancing while they're probably quite drunk, and it's self-explanatory. I don't really get why you're bossing it though.
Oh, fuck it. Like, it's engagement, isn't it? Like, it's pretty funny.
You're not telling me they purposely did it.
It could be the
You
greatest content
probably think
strategy
they
in the
do.
world. I don't know.
No way.
I know why this is an egg, but I can just imagine this going up because this could have been up for like a second. I know it says 4 hours ago, so maybe they forgot, but like the feeling you would have as a content creator on the back of this, you would be like, fuck, like I can't believe I've done that. Like you'd have that hot feeling come through you and like, just
that'd
want
be
to
awful.
spew. But also like I think it's an opportunity. Like if you fucked up, you just got to lean into this, right? And now like all your content's just going to be stanky leg. Everything you've got to do is going to be that dropping that stanky leg.
No, I didn't really think of that because that they'd be the again American culture. They could turn it into a positive. I think.
Yeah.
They'd have the humor for it. I'd just love to be in like the next catch up with this person and their boss, and then you both know what it's about. And you're just like, so, like, I'd just love to see if they approach it with humor or they'll genuinely pissed off.
You'd have to approach it with humor, wouldn't you? Like you got to be like, hey, we know you fucked up, and like, let's make sure this doesn't happen. But I want to see what you're going to do on the back of this, and also like, it's Snapchat. This is the audience for it to like do something like this, isn't it?
True. And to be honest, it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it?
It could have been a lot worse, considering Ja Morant's out there flashing a gun every time he goes on social media.
I still can't believe that. But no, these ones are always funny when you forget to log out of your work accounts.
Work accounts. Now, Barks, I know you've been really enjoying this series. I didn't put it in the show notes because I thought you might lose your shit over it. But I've got some great Facebook Marketplace finds.
I actually sort of forgot about that. Okay. Carry on.
All right. Here's the first one I found. Red Rock Dally Chip Collectible. It's someone selling a collectible Red Rock Dally chip. $40.
Collectible.
Reduce. I don't know. I don't ask the questions. I just
it's reduced.
So it's a bargain at $40. Hit up Beck Vaxman if you're still interested in this one, my friends and enemies.
$40. That's
a
steep price.
Not bad. So that's
not bad.
that's number one. I've got number two. Here it comes, and I know you will enjoy this one. Hold on. Here, where is it? Half drank bottle of Prime, $3.
God. Prime. That's something I don't understand. Prime.
Yeah,
People
neither
go
do
nuts
I.
for that.
Logan Paul style thing, but
Yeah, but like I first came across it in LA. Like people literally go nuts for it.
yeah.
But yeah, well done.
Anyway.
Another week for you.
$3 bargain.
Sure. All right, let's get on to some bosses. Let's get some positive energy going. You've already done yours.
I've got another one.
Oh yeah. Okay, I've got two as well. One a bit of back and forth, a bit of tennis boss.
All right, I've only got one. So do you want to start then?
Yeah, it would make logical sense,
Yep.
wouldn't it? NBA. NBA finals are on. I just want a boss. If you're not a basketball fan, Jimmy Butler. He's one of the better players in the league, but he's one of the best, if not the best character in the game. And he just does things like this go viral all the time on social media. So the Jimmy Butler plays for Miami Heat. The Miami Heat won the Eastern Conference Finals last week. And he's just got this amazing attitude and belief in his team. And there's a sort of a clip that has gone viral where one of his teammates offers him the Eastern Conference Finals trophy as they're on stage, because that's what they do. They all go a bit. It's like a reduced celebration. It's not too much, but his teammate offers Jimmy Butler the trophy, and then he just looks at him, shakes his head, and says, "I'll hold the next one." I just think there's such a little bite-sized, great pieces of. Well, he doesn't do it for content, but it's just the characters in the sport.
You know what? Like, it's shit you see like that, and you're so quickly reminded, like, as cliche as it sounds, there's genuinely content everywhere. Like, there's always something that, like, you can pull out from the game, a moment. Like, Mans was showing me this thing that they did today, and it was literally like Chris Scott, the Geelong head coach, like taking a selfie with one of their fans. And I think the content producer there, Meg, like pulled that down and just put like highlights in a phone underneath it, and like they were all watching highlights together. I'm like, that's not like hard to do. It's just like identifying the opportunity and just rolling with it, isn't it? And it's similar with the Jimmy Butler thing. Like if you're that team, you're like just cutting it up or letting it go because it's like, oh, that content's going to be everywhere, and how good's that? Or we'll use it a bit later on when we win the title.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, and we've spoken about Miami plenty of times before, but they're probably the best, one of the best teams at doing that. And even from a different angle, with you saying there's content everywhere, it sort of gives you a different perspective of how closely and how quickly the Bleacher Reports, the House of Highlights, people are actually watching.
Yeah, they're getting
sort of every second, and there's clipping it up, and bang, it's out there. It's not hard, but it goes nuts.
No, I agree. It's very like. And you're right, like Omar from House of Highlights really, like when he started that was the thing, wasn't it? It's like we can make so much stuff from all these games and all these interviews that are going on. And
it's so easy.
It's so easy.
There's nothing hard about it.
Yeah. No, good one.
Thank you.
Mine is, I've been watching Selling Sunsets on Netflix. I don't know if you've ever watched this show, Barks.
Elise brought this to my attention. I'd probably enjoy it, but no, I don't watch it.
Yeah, I thought you would enjoy it. It's along the line of maths, except probably less yeah, I don't know.
It's surprising that you watch it though.
Oh, look,
you've always been at me for watching things like maths.
You get sucked in. Like that's
I told you this from day dot. You're like, oh, it's crap TV. I'm like, yes, that's the point, Jules.
Yeah,
that's why
I know,
people
but
love it.
I don't want to get sucked in. I think that's my thing, and I've just gotten sucked into this, and I'm not really happy with myself. That's some self-reflection for me. But in one of the episodes of this show, and if you don't watch the show, it's basically like realtors going around and selling these mansions in Los Angeles and California, more specifically, I think. No, Los Angeles, not California. And one of the houses had a basketball gym that was decked out with the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix like logos and stuff like that. I still don't really understand what
it's one of the owners, I think.
Was it like
so this is from Elise. She said that so before they showed what basketball team was, but the owner who was selling it, I don't know if they actually show them on the show, but it was basically saying that he owns this massive basketball team. And Elise is like, oh yeah, it must be like a NBA team or something, and then it shows the next scene, it's like just Southeast Melbourne Phoenix everywhere.
Yeah, I'll bring up the example for those who are watching at home. I've just found it, but it's kind of just like, it's just random. You know what I mean? Like, it's just this gym where there's like, all of a sudden, Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. And I guess it's so niche. Like, no one in America would really know
Nah,
what the fuck is going
look
on.
made up.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you just made up your own team. So it got me thinking, is it like Ben Simmons' house? Because doesn't he partially own it? Doesn't John Walls partially own it?
John Wall and Dante Exum.
Dante Exum, sorry, that's the one, not Ben
Yeah.
Simmons. Yeah. So,
But no, well, did you just think it was like a big fan?
no, I was just genuinely racking my
Yeah.
brains, like trying to work out who it was. I thought most NBL teams were owned by old mate Larry.
No, I think it's actually what's his name? Ronnie. No, I don't know. I think it's one of the part owners. He's an American guy, but yeah, no, a bit random.
Again, one of those examples of content everywhere.
Content everywhere, and you know it's funny. Like I first saw this, and I'm like, that's probably genuinely nicer than the facilities that they train out of. It's just at some guy's house. Too much money. My last boss is back to Carlton. Paddy Cripps. So everyone knows Patrick Cripps. If you're in Australia, if you don't, well, don't know what you've been doing. But he's not the biggest sort of social media presence. But obviously Carlton going through a rough trot. Are you aware of that, Jules? Are you across that?
Yeah, no comment.
No. Oh, okay, you are. Okay, cool. You follow footy. So he. Geez,
Shut up,
Reg.
Hey!
Meanwhile,
Anyway.
Max is just sleeping here like an angel.
Cats versus dogs, eh?
Yeah.
So I wasn't actually across what Cripps made this post in regards to, but I believe they were accused of being out, or he was accused from being away from his team a certain point of time while they're up in Sydney, and then he's put up this nice Instagram post basically coming to the defense of himself and the team, and I just don't think you see it enough in the AFL, especially with the bigger players that actually just put up, basically use their social media. I would say this is for good. Like I know a lot of people would be like, oh, don't bother posting about it, don't bother writing about it, but he's put together a good 2 paragraphs just sort of defending what happened. And sometimes the reason why I really like it, and it's a boss, is because this brings a lot of clarity when the player himself or themselves comes out with a very straightforward post. You can read what it means, and everyone straight away believes it's sort of fact. It doesn't take journalists or media, external media, sort of talking about it. It just shuts it down in a way, I think.
No, I agree. And this is going to lead into my controversial call. So I'll hold. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, but like, no, I think it's good players like just getting the truth out there themselves, because the clubs are always so reluctant to do stuff like that goes against the media or like challenges them.
Yeah.
So it's good for the players to come back and be like, hey, no, like, look, this is what's happened. And to be honest, like, we're working our asses off. We know we're not doing this, and this. Like, sometimes shit just doesn't go your way, and you've got to, don't bring my personal life into it. Like,
exactly.
I'm just like anyone else doing a job. I have my time with my family and my friends, and I don't always have to be like at the club, like, training or like thinking about training. That's actually more detrimental for me. So yeah.
I think it's me too. I think it's a good example that maybe more athletes are so figuring out how they can actually use like simple posts like this to their advantage. Like I feel like there'd be a general sort of feeling around just don't bother, don't listen to it's always that quote, they don't listen to the external noise, but in reality most people do. And Cripps, like a post like this is just like, like we know there's external noise, but let me get one thing clear. Like it's just using it to your advantage.
I think so as well.
I think if you do it properly, there's power in it.
And there's nothing that unites people more than fighting the media.
Yeah, it's so true, actually. Like, even other teams, I was just scrolling. Zach Merritt, Trent Cotchin, like, other teams, other big players from other teams get around it.
Yeah. Because it's, again, it's support, for you. Everyone's been in that position as an athlete, I think, where especially if you're a high-profile one. But
yeah.
No, good boss.
Maybe you'd regret... Thank you. Maybe you'd regret not saying something after.
I'll let him know.
Okay, no worries.
I'll
thanks.
just show him this recording.
Okay.
Listen
to this 15-minute show clip. There's a bit about it.
Yeah, at the end. This leads to my controversial call.
Beautiful, because I don't have one.
My one, I don't even know if it's that controversial, but I want to get it off my chest. And I'll preface this by once again saying that the views expressed in the show are mine and not of my employer or anyone else.
I love this version of Jules. His tone gets serious. And we're in for something good.
But
Buckle up.
fuck me, Melbourne journalists need to like get a life. Like sports journalists in Melbourne need to get a fucking life.
Yeah. Examples or just that's it?
So the other day, I sometimes leave my bike at work on a Friday night and then pick it up on a Saturday. Just that's what I do. Go for a few drinks on a Friday night. Don't want to ride home. Do the sensible thing, Michael.
Legend.
This evening, like I went back to the club a bit later on the Saturday night to pick it up because I've been doing things during the day, and camped out the front. There was a whole bunch of Melbourne media doing their crosses live from Carlton after they'd lost the game. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I feel sorry for the people there because it's like, yeah, you're just doing your job and I appreciate that. But you're also like feeding the beast by like continually like trying to make a story out of nothing. Like it's a little sad that like the media come in often without repercussions and will say whatever they want to say, leak what they want to leak, like without considering the implications of what that has for not just the players, not just the like coaches or whatever, but like the staff. Like,
yeah,
it's tiring walking out every day and like seeing just a whole bunch of media and being like, oh, I can't even walk out the fucking front door because like I'm going to be on broadcast, or like there's a swarm of journalists in the cafe, and like it's just really awkward because it's like, can you just like, I like, again, I do appreciate they're doing their job, but like, why does suffering not suffering? So why does this side of the media sell so much? That's the kind of question.
That's a bit that sucks because like we all are drawn to these. Well, if they're true, we are naturally drawn to these things. Like we are interested in them and we will read about it. But no, I'm definitely not disagreeing with you. Like I'm agreeing with you totally. And I think like I'm always pretty good at understanding, or I think I'm pretty good at like trying to get the perspective of different types of jobs. They're just doing their job. It's what they're paid to do and it's what they're meant to do. But journalists are one that I don't think I've ever been able to get my head around, because that would ruin, if I was in that position where journalism was something I'm passionate about, that would ruin it for me. Like I couldn't be proud sort of hanging in a car park, making, literally, as you said, making everybody feel on edge. I could not be proud of that. Like in that moment, imagine you're just sitting out the front waiting for something to happen, almost feeling pressured by your bosses or the people around you to not make something up, but just look for everything. Like,
find any
like
small detail.
Constantly analyzing to make something out of nothing. I don't know. It'd just be exhausting.
It would be exhausting. And I think that's why, like, I do have an appreciation for the amount of work that they put in. I just think sometimes like the output is always so negative. It's like,
I wonder if realistically, like if you're in that position, I suppose you probably wouldn't last if you could just totally separate yourself from any of those negative situations. You probably couldn't, could you? You wouldn't last.
Nah, you wouldn't, like. Although, like, but you just see like they'd say it as a story, like the whole Tom Morris like releasing the dimmer stuff. Like, again, by letter of the law, he's just doing his job. He's just like, he's found the story, but that's how competitive the industry, I guess, is as well, because they're all hunting for this like make or break story, right? Like,
all like vultures. Like I don't know what I don't know. I was listening. Maybe it was just on the radio. There's some journalist talking about whoever it was. I think it was Mitch Clear or something, missing out on the dimmer story, and just like how like annoyed or upset, or not upset with himself, but how annoyed he was at himself, and just like this hearing him talk about it goes back to my point about how exhausting it would be. Like if you to like miss it by like one text message or whatever it might be, and you're just breaking news that isn't yours, really. Like I don't know. That's the other angle I think of it. It's not yours.
Yeah, it's wild, and
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild.
Also,
I'm not going to disagree.
Nah, I could spend another episode on the whole Tom Morris redemption arc as well, but I don't think I will.
Yeah, I don't. When I saw, like, I wasn't even across. Like, I don't really watch news. Like, I'm not that
But
heavy.
then you
I'll
see
just
he's
sort of.
back.
Yeah, I just saw he got it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How did he get? Like, how is that just accepted? Anyway,
Mm,
you're right.
that's another controversial call. But anyway, we live, we love, we
Mm,
learn.
Well, we don't love everything, do
Yeah,
we?
no.
But hey, that's all right. That's not. Yeah, we don't need to go into that because even though we're doing a fight, I think we'll agree on it.
Righto.
All right, what an episode! I enjoyed that.
Good episode.
Listeners, thank you. You too.
Hey, I actually,
listeners hope.
sorry to interrupt,
yeah?
but I actually had some feedback from a friend of the show, Ben Corson, who messaged the other day, and he said he liked our last couple of episodes. So I think that's like a credit to a bit of a more discussion, less examples approach that we're trying to take.
Love it. Yep, that's something we're consciously trying to do, eliminate the visual examples. But thanks, Benny boy. Hope you're well. Hope
well.
Is that Ben Coulson? No, I keep getting confused.
I can't believe you can't even remember. He was on
Streaming
the
one,
bloody
streaming
show,
one.
mate.
Yeah, we had them both on the show.
Yeah, but
streaming.
what was
That's streaming
one?
one.
Yeah.
Be seen. I know his brand.
Be seen. Yeah, it's doing good stuff. Be seen.
Be seen.
Be safe.
We forgot the end. No, as in I was going to give him a shout out, but be seen something. There's a third word to that. Anyway, check it out. Be seen.
Yeah, just have a look at Benny Corson.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we're rambling. Thank you for everyone that tuned in to this episode 18 of season 4. Jules, any last words? I hope you're well, and we'll talk next week. But I'm rambling now.
Yeah,
Got
let's just
nothing.
wrap this up.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.